Good morning, Justin. Good
Good
morning,
morning.
AK. How's it going?
How about
You
yourself?
off work today, Justin?
Yeah, we're packing to
Oh,
move.
awesome. That's good stuff. Good morning, Shell. Good morning, Miss Nikki.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Pepper. It's Thursday, guys. Y'all ready for the weekend? Sounds like Justin.
Most definitely.
Sounds like Justin was just gonna be moving this weekend.
Yep. Me and my brother getting our own spot.
Awesome. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
AK, you still in San Antonio?
No, ma'am. I came back last night.
Oh, okay.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. These kids woke me out yesterday. I'm realizing now I'm not a spring chicken anymore. Okay, we're waiting on our guest to get started. Oh, there he is. Hold on, let's invite him up to speak. Do you guys have any questions or anything before we get started this morning?
Yes, Janelle, what is the name of that book you told us to read?
When I tell you.
I was on here maybe 2 days ago, and you said something about a book that you asked us to read. It suggested us to read.
Oh yeah, the Habits of High Performers by Brendan Burchard.
Habits.
Habits of High Performers.
Okay, thank you.
If you're not a good book reader, you
Hmm.
can do it Audible. But if you buy the book, it comes with the productivity performance assessment to help you know where you are in your productivity. So if you buy it, you'll get the little assessment and you'll know what to improve on.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning, Brian. How are you doing today? You have to unmute yourself. There you go.
I'm great. I just saw the button.
No problem. Shannon told me this is your first time, so we're not gonna give you a hard time.
Appreciate that.
No
Good
problem.
teamwork.
No problem at all. Good morning, Shannon. Good morning, Maeve.
Good morning. Hiding behind a cabin so the kiddos don't see me.
Oh, I was wondering where you were. When I got up, you were gone.
Yeah, I was at the nurse's station at 6:45.
Oh, bless your heart. What time did you go to bed?
One, like around one.
Jesus.
We gave our last meds at like 11:45.
Let me tell y'all something. Shannon love these kids. They won't be out yesterday. I'm knocked out.
Listen, I
So.
don't want to see them off of their levels. Let me tell you.
Jesus. All right, guys. So it is 8:30, and we're going to get started about our conversation. And so I wanted to invite Brian in. A lot of you guys have been receiving Brian's emails, and if you took the time to receive them, you realize that they're very thorough. They have a lot of information to offer you, and he's probably the only lender that I have been in contact with in the last 20 years who has thoroughly sent us emails and kept us abreast and be able to offer us so much information. So, Brian, one, I want to thank you for being a part of our office and taking the time to educate us. And so today the agents are going to ask you some questions about where we should be. I want to get your perspective on the inflation and what's going on in the mortgage market right now and what we should be doing as realtors.
First of all, thanks for inviting me over. Yeah, I'm excited. We have a lot of dramatic changes, as you know, from listening to the news of what's going on in the industry as far as interest rates, with the Feds increasing. Um, I have seen a shift with down payment assistance. I also seen a shift with regular FHA conventional with par rate. Um, First of all, I want to say that we cannot lock any interest rates until you have a sales contract. I've been getting a lot of calls, not from you guys, but where people are trying to compare what they're getting from these online websites and what rates are really are. You got to have a sales contract first before we can even move forward to that. As far as rate goes, with traditional lending that I have seen, that I kind of broke it down for you guys to get an idea of what we're looking at. Someone who's making $80,000 a year could afford the average home income price of 340,000. Any household that's making anything less cannot afford. And I'll send you guys the email what I'm looking at as well later today. Anybody's household is making $50,000 with today's rate probably could afford a $200,000 house. Now, this is considered both examples if someone don't have a car note or don't have any credit cards. So once that come into play, then that changed dramatically. But I just wanted to give you an average on the incomes that I see is either 50,000 or 80,000 plus.
I want to thank you for that because nobody has broken it down to us. And I ask this question all the time, and most of the time when I hear from lenders, they always say, "Well, you know, it's really based on a lot of things. I can't really let you know." But this helps us as realtors know what price range to look for. Also, what industry pays the money for us to be able to market to them. But if you can take just a few minutes, speak to us in very elementary terms and tell us what par is and tell us how to read that.
Okay. Par rate is considered the bottom rate that you would get when running someone's application to try to figure out what rate they qualify. Rate consists of credit history, income, assets, all that plays into a factor. If I knew the calculation, I'll be on MSN besides talking to you guys right now, if that was the case. But par rate is the bottom rate where is a break even rate where if you wanted to use some money to help pay your closing costs, the rate would be higher than the par rate. If you wanted to buy down your interest rate, it would be less than par rate. Here's the problem, and I'm gonna go back to the example of the $80,000 home. Because of the dramatic changes with the industry, with the Feds increasing rates, par rate is no more break even rate where you don't have to pay to get that interest rate. There's
Mm.
fees associated with those par rates now. Right now, par rate is 5.6. For someone with a 70, and I ran these numbers this morning, somebody who's purchasing a $340,000 home, if their credit score is at 620, to get that 5.6 interest rate, the cost for that rate is 1.89. Someone who has a 640 credit score, that rate is 2.901. We do buy down rates by 1 point to help deviate that fee, but last year that same rate, if we was going with 5.6, that fee wouldn't exist
Mm.
because of the increase of what happened yesterday and is going to happen again next month. There's going to be another increase. There's fees associated with these rates. um let's switch over to down payment assistance programs, if unless you had another question towards that.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Down payment assistance, there's different types of down payment assistance. We deal with 5 programs. I only like dealing with 3 because I don't want to stress the client out. And through my history dealing with the city of Houston, they like repetitive information. I like it simple and easy, so I only use 3. I use Set Go, TDHCA, and T-Shack. I like TDHCA because the rates are better. It's simpler. T-Shack is just as simple as TDHCA, but the rate's a little higher. And then last is the Set Go. Their rates are seem to be higher than the others. Now the difference between both of them, all 3 of them have the same 2 categories. There's My First Choice and there's My First Texas. And then there's one where you could get locked in with 3 years tax returns and one you could do with W-2s income. The one with W-2 income is no longer existing now because of the rates are so high. They have to figure out how to recalculate that. Is what we're seeing. So you have to go with the ones with 3 years tax returns, which for self-employed, that's kind of like, it's going to be challenging. Those with W-2 income, that would be more benefit for these programs with down payment assistance. Down payment assistance rate seems to be a little higher, but hey, it's getting people in homes. The best thing about the down payment assistance that they did this year in April, they increased the income limits. I think I seen you guys an email on it, where in certain counties, like in Harris County, it went from household income of 99,000, it jumped all the way up to 112,000. Not much, but hey, we'll take it. Brazoria County is actually 133,000. So you in Pearland, Texas City, got buyers out in that area. Something you might want to consider.
Okay, so does the interest rate rise if they use these down payment programs, and like, what's the spread on that?
Well, with the down payment assistance programs, I have no control over those rates. It depends on that particular program, what rate it is that we lock them in. Like I'm about to lock 2 in today. It depends on what their rates are. They have since April went from giving assistance of 3%, 4%, 5%. They changed it to 2%, 3% contribution, 4% contribution. Of course, the higher the contribution, the higher the rate. I'm gonna give you an example of TDHCA right now. The My Choice, where it was just using W-2s, they only giving 2% contribution right now. They removed the 3% and the 4% contribution. And the 2% contribution on that one, the interest rate is 6.5. On the one where you have to turn in 3 years tax returns, there's only a 3% or 4% contribution. The 3% is 5.875 and the 4% is 6.25. Now, I did have a couple of realtors ask me why I'm not offering the MCC. Well, they don't have it. They're not giving those deals out right now with the MCC. MCC is where you could calculate the income a little higher, and also the client would get they could file it on their taxes to get a return, but it's not available right now, so it's not. And with these rates getting higher, I'm seeing down payment assistance kind of fading away right now.
So, so as a realtor, what are some good practices that will be great to work with lenders, and what are good practices for them to be working out in the field from your perspective?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I have. It's been a while since I seen a Houstonian on a sales contract qualified. Um, those who I have a list of pre-approvals that's out there shopping is with Houstonians. I'm seeing And I'm sorry I have to say this, but I'm seeing timelines of finding homes lasting about 4 to 6 months trying to find a home, unless they're making over 80,000 plus. Like, I see more nurses, medical, especially veterans. I would strongly advise that you get with VREP, or where you could get some hold of some veterans, because they're when they come in to purchase a home at one of the builders, they want everything. Because if they receiving disability, they probably would not be paying property taxes, and they definitely don't pay mortgage insurance. So they could afford more. Um, I would kind of shift my perspective of who my clients are, and try to use my social media to think outside of Texas, and more towards veterans and people in the medical field, or an engineer. That would be my perspective.
So thank you for that. What's the name of that program again?
VREP.
BREP. Okay. Do you guys have any questions for Brian? I would highly suggest you take this opportunity to ask him questions. So this can help you project your business for the next couple of months.
I have a question.
Yes.
Hey Brian, if we have sellers that are going on the market, is there something that we can have them do to be more favorable in this market with the interest rate rising, especially if they're in neighborhoods where they're competing with new construction?
um, as far as pricing their home is what
No,
you mean, or as far as
I mean, can a seller offer to help a buyer on a buy down or something like that? Some type of incentive. I don't think we're there yet, but I'm seeing as these rates increase.
I can tell you this: unemployment is low. People are buying homes.
Mhm,
If you listen to property, you're going to get offers
mhm, mhm,
on that property. It's not so much of selling the home as finding to buy them. If they have a larger down payment, it would help when they're going to transition into a new home.
mhm,
Um, I would use that money more towards buying down the rate. We're looking at the industry is looking at two things. Fannie Mae is looking at doing 40-year terms right now, and we're probably going to end up going into adjustable rate mortgages. I With some of the builders, we have what's called a 2-1 buy down, like with Lone Lake, where Lone Lake in certain communities are offering $25,000 worth of incentives. Out of that 25,000, 2% of the loan amount could go to buying down the client's interest rate. Say, for example, let's go back to the 5.6% interest rate. The client will qualify based off of the 5.6% interest rate, but for them to gradually work their way into that monthly payment for the 5.6, the first year would be 3.6 interest rate. The second year would be 4.6% interest rate. And then they'll get back to the 5.6. That's kind of what's going around the table right now. We also setting up a program with Saratoga. It's kind of moving a little slow because they're making dramatic changes in their offices. But that's what I'm seeing coming around the table. And then we're going to be going with outside of builders adjustable rate mortgages to try to balance that out. Did that answer your question? Or
yes, yes.
so
Hey,
for
Brian.
your client who's selling their home and looking for a house, listen, I'm gonna tell you this. I got in this business in 2003. I was working for AmeriCrest Mortgage. Interest rates on refi cash outs was between 12 and 16% interest rates.
Mhm.
When the housing market crashed, rates dropped. The only other time the interest rates dropped was because of COVID. Guys, you got to realize these interest rates right now today is normal. Last year was in norm. That 3%, 2%, that's not normal. Don't be afraid of these interest rates. We have people who could find who could buy homes. I'm getting applications from builders like crazy. They're out there. This 6% is 6.4 is a normal rate. We're the only country that's giving fixed rates. Everybody else is on adjustable rate mortgages in the world. So if somebody really want to purchase a home and qualify, three things they need: job history in the same line of work, credit history, assets. If somebody's saying they're getting their tax returns and they're relying on $5,000 to buy a house, that's not normal. That was normal 2 years ago when COVID hit, but that's not normal. You got to have more assets. You got to have reserves available when you purchase a house. If your closing cost is $10,000 and you have $10,000 in the bank, where's the reserves? What happened to the rainy day? That's what investors look at. Okay, I need 3 months of reserves for them to qualify.
Well, Brian, I guess you answered one of my other questions. I was going to ask you, what can we do as agents to kind of reduce some of this fear in the market from some of the people we see, because they see tax hike. And I agree with you. I just told agent that yesterday. Like, look at this thing in historical terms. We are still low. You know what I mean? But to the general public and the uneducated, when they see interest hike like it did yesterday, everybody going to shambles. So I guess to piggyback on what you said, it would be education, letting them know what's going on, readjusting your social media to more of an educational thing and target, different people, I guess, right?
Right. You have to change with the market. I like I said, I've been doing this since 2003. When the housing crisis happened in 2008, it went from refinance to a buyer's market in 2008. Believe it or not, it wasn't so much about refis. Cash outs was very strong before then. And then it went to back to a refinance, then went to a purchase. So it's going back. It's going to slowly end up going back to a refi cash out, where you're going to start meeting your investors, because they're going to start pulling cash out and finding out they could buy investment property with their cash from their equity. That's probably going to be strong next year. Is what we're projecting. Um, as far as speaking to a buyer, and I don't talk about rate. If you want a house, you want a house. I'm gonna give you an example. I had a client who wanted to purchase a Western home by all means necessary. They gave me tax returns, but I found out they never filed their tax returns. So I had to switch it to a bank statement loan. This client, and this was a rough conversation. I'll be honest with you. I don't normally stall, but I did stall 2 hours before contacting the client, because the only rate that I could have offered him was a 10.25. They took it. The way I approached it was like, hey, listen, because you didn't file your taxes, you need to close on this house. I can give you the 10.25. Your mortgage payment is going to be 5,500 for the first 9 months. After 9 months, I could come back and refinance you, because now you're going to take care of your taxes. I could refinance you and I could drop that payment based off of the projection of the markets in December, coming to around 7% interest rate. I can at least drop you from a 10.25 down to a 7% interest rate. Now, why am I telling you this? He still bought the house at an interest rate of 10.25 because he wants the house. Somebody want a house, interest rate does not matter.
Um, I want to thank you for that, Brian. And I want to expound on that, because you guys should be giving a message that you got to have one or two things. You got to have the right documents and credit score, or you got to have money. But it's a program out there for everybody. So the fact that he could put anybody in a home is a value, because we get denied so many times, and lenders are saying, I can't make it work. If you can make it work without tax returns with a 10% interest rate, do you want a house or no? So if we're talking to the right people that have either or of what we need, they either have money or they have credit or they have income or they have tax returns or W-2s, then we can always service the community. So right now with this communication that we're having today, you need to look into your database and see the people that you're working with. Do they have what it takes to buy a house? If they don't, stop wasting your time with them and go find people who can.
Correct, because that bank statement loan, that's huge in hot shots in truck driving communities. I got a whole community almost in Humble that's all truck drivers.
And see, I have several agents who work in that community, and I've always told people if you have a industry, if you work with barbers, if you work with truck drivers, you can go into a community and service the whole community. Because one thing about it is they're missing is the information and the know-how. They got the money, so go where the money is, and you can also service that whole community. So if you know some truck drivers, or you know some barbers, or you know some um, entertainment people that are in these industries that make a lot of money right now, those who is the people we need to be talking to. Any more questions for Brian? Okay, Brian. So you said that the interest rates are going to go up next month. What do you perceive it to be?
I can't tell you that, but I can tell you that they're strong talks. We follow MGM, and that's kind of like what I get my information from. They're strongly believing that the Feds is going to bring the rates up to 7% by December to slow down inflation. Right now, par rate is 6.4. So it will be another increase. But like I said, there's people buying homes out here. People are moving to Texas. There's communities in Austin. People can't find homes in Austin, period. Houston is hot. Houston and our surrounding areas are on fire right now.
Where do you suggest that they find the people who are moving to our city?
Um, I would network with a lot of doctors, attorneys, truck drivers, veterans. Those are the four people I see buying homes. And the reason why I say I would network with them because a lot of these nurses are travel nurses right now, and I'm getting a lot of referral from travel nurses from a lot of friends from California, Atlanta, South Carolina, um, South Dakota that's coming in to these communities that I service.
Okay. So now is the time for you guys to kind of get some information. This is a great time to
We
pick his
want those
brain.
in Ohio.
Go ahead.
You service clients in Ohio.
No, I only deal with Texas, but I'm seeing a lot of people moving into Houston area, and I'm judging my information based off of the applications I'm getting from the builder communities. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. I'm probably in a bad area, so you guys can't hear me. I'm going in and out. So Brian, what is the process of working with you? Can you give them that information? And how do you help realtors? How do you network with them? And what can you help them with in order for you guys to team up together?
Um, First of all, and like I said, I've been doing this since 2003. And for me to maintain in this industry this long, I needed two things. Most important, I need a strong processing team, and I am so happy to brag. I got the best I ever had. Um, they're an engine that's running. Um, I'm so thankful for them, and the company that I have, we have a good communication program between where I could communicate with realtors throughout the process. And the thing about it is that when Realtors use one of our properties and they go through our experience. They're giving us a lot of praise that they want to continue on working with us. With that being said, we're still looking for ways to increase that communication level between us and the realtor. I prefer that when you're referring me a client, don't just send me their number. Text me and that client on that first initial communication. It's a warm transfer. The reason why is because when I call them, I'm going to text back, hey, it's nice talking to you, to let you know you're aware, hey, we communicated, or thank you. After looking at your records, it looked like you're about 3 months or 6 months before purchasing a home. I don't turn down clients. I give a plan of action. Even if it takes a year, we have a plan of action to help you get to that level. Now, I'll send them, suggestions on building their credit or suggestions on where their income is. I'll follow up with them once a month. But for those who are in transition, like my list today is Thursday. Thursday and Saturdays, I do follow up with those who's out there looking at homes, keeping them encouraged. I know it's tough trying to find a home. So I kind of encourage them, even though if they sound a little down, I encourage them, hey, this is where we are. I'm here for you. You're going to find the perfect home. I'm trying to help keep them excited about home shopping. Um, in the process, once you have a sales contract, we use your information, your email, so you get updates of where the transition to point of funding is getting to. You'll know what documents we need. You'll know if the appraisal been ordered. You know if we got title, we got the CD out. We be funded. We try to make the transition smooth because my goal is that I deal with a large volume. I'm dealing with the client. The last thing I want is an agent calling me, hey, what's going on with my client? I don't want to repeat that information. So that's where we're at when communicating with realtors. I want the realtors to know everything to where you don't have to worry about what's going on with your client. You can read it, go get another client. Keep bringing clients in. That's the relationship I try to, and we work on here at Benchmark to have with the realtor and the builders.
I have a question.
Yes,
How long are we able to like lock in the client's rate?
45 days from point of sales contract. If it's a builder, that if it's a built job, I could do 360 days. On existing homes, 45 days. Built jobs, I could do up to 360 days.
Oh, that's
Now,
huge. Does it matter what builder, or it's just any builder, any
any
new
builder,
construction?
any builder. Now, there's a fee associated with each time period, but that fee is just to lock the rate in, and we reimburse the client that fee at funding. They can either accept that fee or they could use it towards the cash to close.
So if we had some private developers, that could be one of the incentives that they could offer. If they buy at ground level, they can lock in the rate for 360 days.
Yes,
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
we start off at 4 months, and then each month is a different um, fee for it. But like I say, it's just like a down payment. I mean, a layaway plan. That's what I look at it as. You just put it on hold, and then you get your money back. Now, if they decide to go with a different lender at that time period, we keep that down payment, that initial fee, upfront fee.
So, do you guys have any yard signs? Because that would be huge. If Andre was to use those as he's building up the community, he could put the yard signs that says, "Hey, we do locks here." Is that legal to do that? And use your name as the lender of choice if they wanted to lock it in.
All we have is some flyers. I don't have any yard signs for that. No.
That
I
might be
have
one
to
of my
check. That's a good
suggestions.
idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Let
You
me
gotta
I
get
would
some.
say,
look into it and I'll get back with you on that. Okay.
yeah.
You
When
gotta
you
get some yards.
maximize off of that idea, I want my cut, Brian.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead, Andre. I'm sorry.
I was telling him he has to get some yard sign.
Yeah, yeah, that's an awesome thing, right? Because we have a lot of looky loos right now. So people driving through neighborhoods or looking at houses and they're looking at this development, and our new developments are not giving enough information. That's the reason why track builders, I'll call them, have model homes and they have information out and they have homes that you can go in and you can visit because the average consumer wants to see, feel, and touch everything that they buy, and they want all the information without talking to a human first. So we have to find some triggers to bring them in, and that's what model homes do for your track builders. Once they see a model home, they walk in, they get excited, they see what it could look like, and it sells all the other houses that they don't know what it looks like. So that's what helps people buy houses off of paper versus seeing it in person. So Andre, with you having your bill jobs going up, you could put them in lots, you can put them in neighborhoods, and you can say, hey, if you were to buy this lot, we could lock your rate for 360 days. More details to follow, right? So that gives them to opportunity for to ring both of you guys' phone numbers. So it would be a great job for you guys to co-market some of that.
No, you're absolutely right. Um, when we sold our home and people was able to walk it, we was able to sell the other two and it wasn't built yet.
Absolutely, yeah. People,
You're absolutely
people,
correct.
people buy what they can see, feel, and touch. So it's always important for us to present that, especially since this is something that you're going to do, and it's going to help you reach your goals faster. If you have lots that's coming, or you have projects that's coming, if that was out there, that would draw the attention to get the phone call, and it would help both of you guys. So that's just one of my suggestions. So you said, Brian, that you do have flyers that you can co-market with realtors.
Yes. This is the other thing. If it's something that seems positive and my company is getting a lot of feedback from me dealing with your group and they're
Hmm.
excited about it. We're working some other deals along with the one that we have right now with other builders in play. So why I'm saying that, for example, um, if you have, Andre, something where you work with builders and you have a track record, those yard signs, even though it's not my name on it, your name, and we're co-branding, that's something that I might be willing to take the pay the cost of instead of you to help market to get business in.
He is the builder.
He is the builder. Okay. Oh, well, you the builder. Yeah, definitely. That shouldn't be no problem at all to co-market. Benchmark Mortgage been around. We're nationwide. We're $1 billion company. In Texas alone, last year we did during the pandemic. We did. I'm sorry, the year before. I don't have the records for 2021, but for 2020, we did 900. I'm sorry, we did 998 million dollars in volume.
So if you are a nationwide company, is there a way that you can help Sharon find a contact in Cleveland? That's where she's from.
Um, yeah, I'll be depressed about it, but yeah.
Okay. So so it'll come back to you, I promise.
I
But
know, I know, I know. I'm just teasing.
if you could give her that connect, Sharon, I think he put his phone number, or Sharon, I think Shannon put his phone number in the chat. Get his number out of there so that you can get a connect in your state, so that you can, because the programs are pretty much the same, right, Brian?
Yes, yes. It's just the regulations change, but
Okay, so also you mentioned the program about the veterans. For you and an agent to co-market that information, or or do they need to join the veterans program, and what do they do to get that information? And do you have the contact information for them?
first of all, VREP is association
Okay.
that works with veterans. Um, I joined the association because there's a lot of tech. Houston and San Antonio has a huge group of veterans that live here in our market. Um, there's no real specific program. It's just that veterans could qualify for homes, and they're buying homes like crazy right now. That's why I mentioned that information.
So it would behoove us to join organizations where people are making money. So I don't. I think I sent you guys a flyer in our group meet to show you that they're having a technology conference. And so you don't have to be in technology to go to the conference and enjoy the information. But that's the actually one of the industries who's making enough money for us to sell them houses. So that would be one of the reasons why you would attend that and join those type of organizations. So don't limit yourself to organizations that just have something to do with real estate. We want to join and be a part of organizations that have to do with the income that we are trying to service. So even joining the trucking industry, going to some nurses and doctors programs and seeing what organizations you could be a part of, maybe being volunteering at children's hospitals would be a great idea for you. Even if you have teenage kids, having them volunteer and you coming along with them to read books to the kids will get you firsthand conversations with doctors. So I want you guys to start thinking outside of the box because this is one of those times when real estate kicks in. It will be no more than people raising their hand and buying houses for a little bit of nothing. This is where the work starts. So we definitely have to go around and thinking outside the box. So for the last 25 minutes, if you guys have any other questions, I really want you to pick Brian's brain. And then I want you guys to kind of throw out some ideas of what we could do as a community because we're helping one another. We're not each other's competition. We're each other's comfort and help. So how do we help? What ideas do we have to help the next person who may not know what to do?
Share,
Okay,
share, share.
go ahead.
What'd you say, AK?
I was just saying, share information. Share the wealth.
Yeah. Like AK was saying, he belongs to the Mud District as a board member. That's going to give us firsthand information. Well, you guys should be going to the city council meetings, figuring out how you could be a volunteer or service in the communities in which you are servicing and working. Being at the, I wouldn't say so much going to the school districts right now, that's because if we just learned unless the school teachers are married and they don't have any debt, it's going to be hard for us to service that community. And they're going to be the ones who's looking for help. If you've noticed, a lot of school teachers are going to ask you, do they have down payment programs? Do you have any first time home buyer programs? Do you have any down payment assistance? They're going to be looking for help. And so if those programs do not exist, then we have to change the trajectory of who we're talking to. And also, one of my suggestions is I don't know if I told you guys on this app, but I did teach them in class the other day. Is that you need to connect with at least 500 agents around the cities that's moving here, right? Just sending them a simple email, putting their information into your CRM, and touching them all the time, saying, "Hey, I pay 30% referral fees for any of your clients you have coming my way, and I would love to send you referrals as well." Just having that email come out every single week, it may not seem profitable. You may think that's really stupid, but one day they're going to have a client who is going to be looking for a realtor, and most realtors don't know who to send their referrals to. So guess who they're going to pick? You. And that's an email that's going out on an auto rotation. So if you don't have a CRM, now is the time. Now is the time to start putting out helpful information to the industries we want to serve. So if you want to serve veterans, how you need to let veterans know that what their benefits are. Start speaking to the community on your social media. If you want to help the self-employed, you want to help truckers, you need to start putting out trucking facts and how they can use their fuel with their taxes and whatever information you know to help that industry. That's the information you need to be communicating over your social media. No different than Andre, since he's developing. You probably got about 22 projects that you have listed right now, and you're not only developing your own, but you're working with developers, it's time to start speaking to them with your social media to tell them what tools you have to help them sell their houses faster, and more of them will work with you.
Yep, that is correct. And yeah, that's amazing.
So and I can't give you the ideas. I can't help you if I don't know what you're working on. So, what is some things that we could do and help each other? And where are some areas that you need help? Because we got to change the way we think, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. We have to change our perspective. We have to go. We cannot stay comfortable with our activities if they're not paying us any money. We got to change the way we look at it.
I would like to throw an idea that I have seen, and the reason why I'm bringing this up, you say Andrew is a builder.
Andre, he's a builder.
Andre, I'm sorry, Andre. I apologize. You have enough agents on here. I'm looking at all the agents. If y'all market his property, you get paid when you sell the house, correct?
Yep, yep. There's an app called List Reports. You guys should all be a member of
I
List
gain
Reports because
attention
it's free.
with certain builders because I go do TikTok videos of the inventory. I'm helping them sell their
Mm,
product. So
mm-hmm.
it wasn't just me, the only lender, going into builders trying to get builders to let me become a preferred lender. It's me doing more than what other lenders are doing. I'm not sitting here waiting for you to send me a deal. I'm going to help you sell your product.
So, Mr. Brian, I would call that what? Adding value.
Adding
Before
Mm-hmm.
you
value and networking.
before you even ask for anything, you came, added value, and say, hey, look, I brought this. Let's sit down and talk.
Right.
You
So
have leverage.
exactly, because I can't tell you how many times Sarah told called me like, "Hey, I need this house sold. Can you come do a video?" Yes, I'm on my way. I live in Katy, Texas. I'm on my way to Alvin, Texas. I'm on my way to the Woodlands. I'm gonna get it done early because I need to get back to the computer. Fine, whenever you do, I'll leave the key here. Thank you. And that product gets sold. I have a huge following on social media. Every day, I'm adding more people because I'm trying to get a product up there. If you have a listing that you're struggling with, send me the listing. I'm gonna post it. That house will get sold. We
So
gotta
that, and
work
that's
together.
also, yeah, I appreciate that, and that's a great idea because a lot of agents, especially new agents who don't know where to start, that's where you start. Even if it's not a new builder, you could go to listings in the community that you have, schedule a preview, and make a TikTok about this video, this house. You just have to be really careful with your words. You can't say this is my listing, but you can always say, hey, this is a house that's for sale in the Cypress, in Barker Cypress, right off of Barker Cypress, right? So you have to create work and you have to create an environment when you don't have one. And that's a great idea. Going into new builders and doing TikTok videos to get their inventories whole. I don't even sell a lot of real estate, but I go into builders and I talk to builders. And the first thing I say is send me your inventory. When a deal drops out, and you'll notice I'll text it to you guys, I'll put it in there. Hey, there's a house over here. They're paying an incentive. They had a fallout. Go buy it. That's because I don't have to go out in the community anymore. I just call them on the phone, tell them to send me their inventory so that when the house falls out, they're probably going to pay me more. They're going to pay me an incentive to sell it. So I can just advertise that on my social media. Hey, this house is available in this community. So create it. Create your atmosphere. Create your market. So each one of you guys, if you don't have any lead generating activities to do today, now you have one. Go by your builders, make TikTok videos, advertise them, and if you can even just generate phone calls, whether they sell it or not, the next person they're going to call when they need help is you. When you actually go back in and now you're asking them, hey, can I sit in an open house? Yes, I can. And to be really transparent, when they have a buyer who needs some help financially and they need to put somebody on a deal, they're going to call you because you have helped them and they can trust you. People do business with people who they know, love, and trust.
I have a question, Brian. My husband works in refineries, so I know that they make money. How can I market to them? Like,
They have a most refineries have a they have an association. and they have meetings. Don't they have like actually husband, they do have meetings, those who's on that association. I'm trying to think of the word. I'm sorry. They have an in-house um association. You
It's
could
the
go
union.
and maybe
Union.
sponsor.
No, well, my husband doesn't work for the actual refineries. He does all the contract work. So he works with one company with Inserv, and then they'll go to like Chevron, and then they'll go to Valero. So his group, like the line of the guys that he works with, they travel. They all work at different refineries. They don't work for the actual refinery itself. They work for the contractors. They get
Well,
So
Sounds like
at this,
so
they
with that
still they
part,
still have them that belongs to the. They still have people who actually work for the company. So don't necessarily look at the fact that husband actually works for. Look at the fact that that company makes money. So I would still join those union boards and go to those union meetings and let them know what realtors do, because I'm pretty sure there's not very many realtors going to union meetings in the oil and gas industry.
right? And also, that's why I was trying to think of the word union. Thank you. Um, Also, you know the name of the people he work with. They on social media. Add their friends. Put your name out there. Um, you could get attention from those, because I can tell you this. I used to have a strong realtor. I'm so glad. I'm so mad that she retired. Her husband worked for BP, and as you know, with the oil industry, people come in and they work for a certain time period. They don't stay for 30 years. They don't. They time periods between 5 to 7 years on contracts. So it was constantly moving in and out, moving out, in and out. She made a good retirement living off her husband working at BP, because she always stayed in touch with the company, go to the company parties and meet individuals. And she has so many foreigners moving in and out in the Cinco Ranch area. She did very well. It got to a point that people was moving from one side of the street to the next just to be in a different school for their kids to be in part of the highest GPA.
Yeah, so that's what I mean by the industries. We don't even have to have anybody in a company that makes a lot of money. We should be researching industries that make good money and just start going to the parties and finding out. If you don't know anybody there, go to the lunch break and introduce yourself. Walk in the buildings. If that's one of the places that have offices, go practice your elevator speech like I tell you guys, and push the elevator up and down to 3 and talk to yourself. People's going to ask you, what are you doing? I'm a real estate agent. I'm practicing my elevator speech. Hey, what's your name? How are you doing? You make friends that way. Turn your badge upside down. Have people ask you, oh, you know your badge is upside down. Oh, yeah, that's a realtor. If you don't have conversation starters, create them.
I call it peacocking.
Yeah. So, but this is a time like in your morning lead generation, just look up industries that make $80,000. We know that if you make $80,000, you might want to do $100,000. Why? Because Brian said if you make an average of $80,000, you can afford a $340,000 house, and that's probably without credit cards and a car note. And the average American has one of the other. So if we want to raise our income a little bit, we want to see industries are make $100,000 and above. Then we know that they'll still be able to buy in our price range. We know that we make commission of $9,000 on a $300,000 house. So it's no different if you want to start selling $400,000 houses. What industry makes $150,000 a year? That's who I want to go and rub elbows with.
And also for the young lady with the husband in the oil field, they talk a lot. So you got to convince, I don't want to say got to, but you should have convinced your husband that, look, we can make a lot more money and use a lot less time if you was to promote the business while it works. Because they talk. I've been in those atmospheres. They talk
He
all the time.
does.
They
He
go to
does
the
promote me. the biggest thing is convincing them. They travel, so a lot of them are from Texas, but the thing is that they travel, so they don't really want. I need to find a way to convince them. They don't want to set roots because they'll be 1 minute they're in Texas, the next minute they're in Wyoming, the next minute they're in Oklahoma, but they always come back to Texas. This is where they're at. So a lot of them don't want to buy because it's like, well, why do I buy if I travel a lot? So I have to find a way to be like, well, you should because
Well, that's where the education comes in. That's where it shows that you teaches them that it's an investment. You know what I mean? While you're out here running around, you got something else, an asset over here that's creating value, creating equity. You know what I mean? Sort of those lines. But they hang tight together. They drink together. So go whatever local bars they go to and just hang out there because that's a tight knit group and they got loose lips.
So I will tell you, Maze, that the answer to your question is right now. It's the housing is the biggest savings account that you're going to have right now. This is our biggest equity gaining season. So buying a house in Texas is going to give you the biggest saving account you have because we're gaining equity. So whether you live in it or you don't, if you're going to come one day, use that as a savings account because your 401k is not promised to you. But I'm going to tell you one thing that is the equity in that house. Have not seen houses go drop down to the bottom unless they're under service and need to be condemned yet. So if you want to save money at a higher rate and don't have to spend money to make money, your first only investment you're going to have is the down payment to get in. After that, it should make money on its own. So that's using other people's money to make money. So you want to beat your 401k? Invest in a house.
On a lending perspective to that answer on that, just to piggyback, I would start off asking how much you paying in rent because what you're going to get in mortgage and while you're traveling and renting your property, whoever's renting your property while you're out is paying your mortgage, and you probably go gain maybe $100 to $300 extra off of it. That's a huge investment right now.
Man,
I,
I always put it in. I always tell them to put it in numbers, Brian. So say that one more time. How much money could they be making?
they could be making extra after on rental income right now on people who have mortgages. Not only the rental income is paying the mortgage, they're making between $100 to $300 extra off of it. Remember, although there's a lot of people moving here, so there's a lot of properties not available, but there's a lot of rental income. There's a lot of rental properties available.
That's good stuff. So go ahead. Anyone else have something?
These inflation and interest rates is actually going to help builders catch up on building homes.
Go a little
So,
deeper in that. Explain that.
okay, inventory. Inventory is a killer right now. They're finally getting caught up on lumber. The other thing that other issues they have is cabinets, windows, faucets. It's huge right now. Just faucets. Um, is back order. So builders got behind during the pandemic on building homes. I know like Perry Homes was actually offering people $500 and giving their earnest money back to them because they couldn't keep up with the demand of building homes. Centerpoint with certain subdivisions are behind on putting in the electricity for the property. So there's people who's been on contract for a whole year and the home haven't even started building yet. So the interest rates of this inflation is going to slow down the process so builders could catch up. Not all builders are in that perspective, but some builders are. Um, so that's going to help. So why am I saying that? Well, a lot of people is moving here. So what are they going to do in that time period? They're going to rent a property. These are families. Families don't want to live in an apartment. They're going to get in a house to rent. So for someone that's looking to in that industry, paying rental income versus throwing their money away versus buying a house and then renting out while they're going, that's a huge investment.
That's
In
good.
the
I
short
didn't think
term,
about
might
that.
make more money.
Mm-hmm. I didn't think of it that way. So that's good stuff. Well, as you guys can see, Brian is very a wealth of knowledge. He's a great partner to go in business with, and we appreciate all of our lenders partners taking time to come talk to us and help us grow our business. And so, the way we show them love and the way we show their respect is to partner with them and send them business. So I hope that you guys can find a way to network with him and all of our lender partners and just give them a chance to show you what they're good at and how they can help you grow your business. Do you guys, we have 5 more minutes. Do you guys have any other questions for Brian or for myself, or any comments or anything that you can help your fellow realtors with right now? Okay, so we're going to end today. I hope this was valuable to you guys. I hope Brian's information is in the chat. Please take the time to write it down. If you're not in the state of Texas, he can connect you with some of their partners. And I look forward to talking to you guys on Tuesday. You guys have a great weekend. And if you need anything from me, please do not hesitate to send me an email, or you can reach me. You can DM me a message on Facebook at Janelle Compton, or my Instagram at I am Janelle Compton. Or you can set up a call with me if you would like more information on my website at www.pbcaacademy.com. All right, guys, if you don't have anything else, you have an excellent weekend, and I'll see you
Thank
on Tuesday.
thank you for the invite. I'm available 7 days a week. Keep in mind.
No problem, Brian. And thank you. Thank you for sharing with us and giving us value today.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, guys, if you don't have anything else, you have a great day.